For you masters who are planning on making prospecting part of your 2017 goals, our friends over at LandVoice, they are the providers of numbers for sale by owners, expireds, circle prospecting, neighborhood searches, as well as call capture, are offering my listeners a special opportunity to try their services. First month, you sign up 1 month, it costs you $30. I mean, talk about that investment. $30, try it out. If you love it, you keep going. If you don't, then you move on. Another thing, their whole bundle, guys, is a $1,400 a year investment. Through the end of the year, they're offering it for $699. That's right, $699. So if that's part of your 2017 plan, right away go to davidihill.com, click the blog link, go down to the blog, and you'll have all those links so that you can take advantage of these great opportunities.
Get ready for one more sale, inspiring you with ideas through powerful and engaging interviews with top performers of their field. Now, join us as we discuss techniques and strategies of the coolest and most successful people on the planet.
Hey Masters, welcome to another episode of Path to Mastery. As a matter of fact, this is our last episode for 2016. So first off, I want to thank you guys for your support, for your downloads, for everything you've done to help me build this. I mean, it's just been awesome and your feedback has been phenomenal. The next thing I want to do is wish you a phenomenal, amazing 2017 Happy New Year. And to start the new year, we are with Ben Pickthorn. Ben is the prospecting, like the lead prospecting machine guy over at the 5 Doors Network, prospects around the country, leads a group of people. He's going to talk to us about connecting with our clients, prospecting the right way, building rapport. Also shares a live role play. What better way to start the new year than prospecting? As a matter of fact, if I were you, I would be making your calls on New Year's Day and using these techniques that Ben talks about. And my friends, if you need phone numbers, okay, talk to my friends at LandVoice. They've got some phenomenal opportunities right now. We've got the whole package deal. Just go to the easiest way. Go to my website is davidihill.com. davidihill.com. Click the affiliates link and you'll see LandVoice. You can click the link, check out what they have. Some phenomenal opportunities over at LandVoice. So if your intention is to start the new year with prospecting, guys, get on that right away. Hey, I just again want to thank you. I want to wish you a phenomenal new year and just keep rocking forward. Please share. Give me your feedback. Enjoy. Talk to you in 2017. David Hill here with one more sale, Path to Mastery, my friends, and another amazing guest for you today. I'm with Ben Pickthorn, who is the Director of Prospecting for the 5 Doors Network. So, hey, Ben, what's going on, man?
Oh, man, David, thanks so much, man. I appreciate you reaching out and having this conversation with you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time. I know how busy you are, and I know you're a master of prospecting. So we definitely want to talk about that, do some role play for our listeners, and just tell them what they can do to be more successful at this. So first off, how did you get started with prospecting?
Well, David, I was in the hospitality business for 19 years, and anyone who's been in restaurant and hospitality just knows how much of a grind that is. Never able to spend time with your family. Quality of life is down really low. But there was something I loved about it, and that was just being able to engage with a lot of different people, meeting them in their many different stations in life that they were in. And so when that opportunity, like when my career started to take a turn, I really was left with a decision of, do I stay in the grind of restaurants and hospitality, or do I look for something that's going to be able to create a bigger win for my family, both financially and quality of life? And so I just started to look. I met with a lot of different people who are doing a lot of different things in a lot of different industries. And I had a great conversation with a gentleman who was my realtor previously. His name's Andy Green, and he had a massively successful real estate team and that was growing here in my local city. And we just started talking about the opportunities that he had, the vision that he had for his company. And I just really saw myself. He didn't offer a job either. That was he was just telling me about what was going on for him. And I just saw, an opportunity, whether it was going to be with Andy or with someone else on my own, that it was like I was so in alignment with his mission, with really the mission, vision, and values of his company and Keller Williams, that I was really drawn to it. And so I first started as an inside sales agent for Andy on his team. After that meeting with him, it was, as quickly as I could, got licensed, took all the classes and passed the tests, and just I just wanted to get going and have conversations with people and see how I could be of service to them. And so that's what I did. I mean, at that point in time, Andy's team was they'd closed 74 transactions year 2 of business, and then hired me as the ISA, and there was another lady who was doing some ISA work with us as well. And that next year we doubled in size and we closed 144 transactions and grew the business pretty rapidly. So, I just love being on the phones, man. I love talking to people on the phone, and there's a big enough opportunity for me to make the kind of income that I wanted to as a prospector, for my family to succeed at our life, like our mission, like our family's mission, while also still being able to participate in my family's life, eat dinner with the family.
Love it, my friend. That's perfect. So let's talk about, so how many leads now? I mean, you're with the 5 Doors Network, so they're a national real estate team that's all over the country. So how many leads are you guys generating on a regular basis? And 2 questions. First, how many leads? And then where did, you said prospecting. So who are you calling?
Yeah. I mean, just to be clear, like my ISA team, so at this point in time, I'm running the inside sales division of 5 Doors as the director of prospecting. And so currently as it sits, I've got 5 full-time prospectors and 1 part-time. But for the majority of this past year, there's been 3 of us, including me. And so you're not really just on the phones banging out calls anymore. You're actually leading a team now. So you built a team, is what you're telling us, for a whole team of people prospecting. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I still have production goals as far as me on the phone, and the appointments that I set, and the amount of qualified nurtures that we're adding to the system each day. And ultimately we're shifting in a direction where I'm going to be able to be more be able to be a bigger impact for 5 Doors as a whole. And, by bringing more people in to affect, more change with our business in the prospecting world. And so leading and directing a bunch of different ISAs and helping them accomplish their goals while they're making the same kind of impact that I was.
So tell us about the life of an ISA. So what does that look like when we talk about these ISAs?
Yeah, so we get in at 8 o'clock in the morning. I've got some ISAs that work Monday through Friday and some that work Tuesday through Saturday. And we get in at 8 o'clock in the morning. We start with script practice and role play, which we do for about 15, 20 minutes. We have a morning power up that I lead for both the East Coast teams and the West Coast teams of 5 Doors, just a mindset, skill set, just get everybody on the same page and speak the culture that 5 Doors is, the heartbeat of 5 Doors. And then we get on the phones, calling for sale by owners and expired listings. We're circle prospecting around just listed, just sold properties, around open houses. So with ISAs, you can either be an inbound or an outbound or a hybrid. And for the most part, our ISAs are of the hybrid variety. So we're handling sign calls, we're handling lead incubation, database touches. You name it. We're calling on closed transaction sides, getting a customer experience survey to make sure that we're doing our job, the agents are doing their job, and asking for referrals. So I mean, it's a well-rounded approach for the ISAs.
So tell us about, so when you say inbound, outbound, let's clarify that. So I understand. So inbound would be what, like Realtor.com leads, Zillow leads, things like that, and outbound would be prospecting, or you tell me, how does that work?
Yeah, so the inbound leads are going to be anything from Google pay-per-click, any of the marketing that we do that has people coming to us, sign calls, Zillow leads, Realtor.com leads, people that come to our website and are poking around through listings on there. And then the outbound is going to be more of your cold calling, trying to find people out there that are not getting hammered on as much by thousands of realtors across the country, and just trying to see what opportunities might come. And in those calls, we're really looking for people that have a motivation of making a change at some point in time within the next 12 months. We're looking to add 5 people a day of people that are looking, or at least said that they're thinking about making a change within the next 12 months per ISA.
So when you talk about the ISAs, like, is there a difference, like, behaviorally? Are you looking for, is it the same person that does inbound and outbound, or are they different, like, behavioral fit? Do you know what I'm saying when we talk about, like, career visioning as a Keller Williams agent?
There is a different behavioral profile. And at the same point in time, it just takes resiliency. And sometimes, David, as you know, that it's just about getting outside of our comfort zone and stretching us to be everything that we're capable of being. So, it's hard for me to say, because I've got people who are, high Ds that have done well in the role, high I's, S's, and C's as far as like the DISC behavioral profile is concerned. The main thing that I'm looking for is, are you resilient? Can you build rapport with people in a quick time frame to where we're not losing them and we're able to really engage in deeper conversations, asking better questions so we get a better idea of how we can help. And so you need to be aggressive on both sides. You need to have a little bit of D in you. You need to be able to talk on the phone and not be scared of it. You need to be able to follow a checklist and stay consistent with that. So
and I know I got tons of questions, man. So when you talk about resilience, like, tell us about that. Like, what does that look like in this role? I know you just mentioned some of the things, but you said there's 2 things: resilient, and you need to be able to build rapport. Talk to us about that.
Gosh, man, if anybody's ever prospected before, I think a lot of times realtors in general, or anybody who's has a sales job, like, we don't like being told no. And I think one of the really amazing things about people is that we were created to get up. In the morning, what do? We get up. When we fall down, what do? We get up. When you're on the phone prospecting, in a day, like, I might make 500-600 dials in a day, and I'm looking for usually between 10 and 15% of those dials actually land into a conversation, right? So let's just take it at 10%. So that's 50 contacts in a day of like a real estate conversation. Like I'm saying, this has been with 5 Doors Network or Keller Williams Realty, and I'm asking for business at some point in time in that conversation. So 50 of those a day, and of those, I'm setting between 1 and 3 appointments per day. So 47 times I'm being told to go fly a kite in one form or another. And if I wasn't resilient, I would hear that no, especially in many of the very creative ways that people tell us no when we're prospecting, very colorful ways at times. And if I just took that and put my tail between my legs, I would never have been able to push through and be successful and impact the type of lives that I'm able to impact today.
I love that.
So that's what resilience is for me. Can you get up and brush the dust off? Because the person after that last no might be the person that really needs our help. If I accept the last punch and just take it and pack up my ball and my game and go home, then I'm letting somebody else's family down, and I'm letting my own family down. So resilience is huge for me.
I love that, man. And, I think, too, the other thing, too, is if you're calling a lot of expireds, they're getting a lot of calls from a lot of agents. And sometimes, like you said, they need your help. They just may be frustrated because, because the house didn't sell, and then because all these other agents are calling them. And frankly, reading these mediocre, all due respect, scripts sometimes, and there's no connection. So the other thing you talked about is being able to build rapport or connect with the client. So how important is that?
I don't know if there's a way to quantify how important that is. I mean, it's just massively important to be able to connect with someone and be able to do it in a quick time frame. Because just like you said, I mean, in any market, there might be 2, 5, 7, 10, 15,000 realtors. And there might be, 50 to 100 that are diligent about their prospecting, calling, for sale by owners and expired listings. And so they are getting the same kind of conversation, the same type of questions over and over again. And if you're not the first one in the door, if you're not the first one calling them in the morning, then many of the questions that we're going to ask, they've heard before. And that's not to say that the scripts are bad. I think the scripts are great. And it's just how you are able to converse with someone through that script. And it's not, David, it's not even as much about the script as it is about the questions that you ask and where you press in and where you ease off, and finding your opportunity in that conversation to say, okay, this is where I'm going to ask a deeper question that will make my conversation different than your conversation.
And I'm going to jump in for a second, because what you just said is so true. And that's the difference right there, Ben, between the person that calls, and you're right, it's nothing wrong with the scripts. The scripts work, but when you have 50 people saying the same thing, that's when it really becomes a challenge. But the difference between somebody reading a script and somebody being present and asking a great question or digging deep, or maybe asking one more question, right? So the people that are the best at this are the people that can actually, they've memorized the script, they've internalized the script, so they can go off the script and have a real conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to know the script to be able to do that, right?
Without question.
If you don't know it, you don't know where you can deviate.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's going to be the key. So obviously, you guys are practicing your scripts, your scripts. So let's talk about, you said 47 people are saying, no, just hell no, take me off your list, whatever, don't call my house again, blah, blah, blah. So how do you help these agents? Like, do you have a process to help them get through that, or what does that look like?
For the inside sales agents, or for the
ISAs, or maybe a better question for me is, what would you say to some of the agents that might be making these, thinking about making these calls, or have made a couple calls and heard no 10 times and said this just doesn't work? What would you say to those people that are listening to this interview?
Great question. I mean, I would say just push through and always just ask one more question. There are a lot of times where we get told no on the phone, and it's a brush off. It's a stall tactic. And the people that we're on the phone with, they give us these stall tactics or these brush offs because they work. The majority of the time they work, and a realtor's or whoever's calling takes that no as soon as they hear even the idea that someone's going to say no, and they're already aborting because it's uncomfortable to press through that. And that's not necessarily, people would say, I hit objections all the time. They just kept saying no. It's like, no's not an objection. No's just an answer to a question. And sometimes you just need to ask a different question or phrase it in a way to get that yes. And so I think uncovering the real objection is extremely important. So I teach that, and this isn't new from me. This is, knowledge that's been shared with me from the coach I've had the pleasure to learn from. 5 steps to uncovering the objections. And the first step is just to thank them for it and to rephrase it. And at the end of it, you say, is that right? Because the person on the other end, they want to know that you're listening and that you understand where they're coming from. So I just said, hey, thanks a lot for sharing that with me, David. I understand that you don't have time to talk right now. Is that right? You'd be like, yeah, that's right. And you're like, well, David, real quick, I know that time's really sensitive to you. If you did have more time, tell me a little bit about the house that you're looking to find.
So you're not actually asking them hey, what's a better time to call back because you have them on the phone now, right? So you're going to acknowledge and show them you respect their time, their empathy. You're getting on their side of the table. and then you're going into questions.
Right. Because a lot of times people are, I mean, if they were so busy, would they have picked up an unknown phone number? I know I don't, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, I've already got them on the phone. And hey, thanks so much for sharing that with me. I know your time is extremely important. And a lot of times I'll even just say, hey, in 30 seconds or less, just tell me a little bit about the type of home that you're looking for. And then just be quiet and let them answer. At that point in time, they might say, no, look, Ben, I'm serious. Like, I don't have time. And then at that point in time, I'll say, okay, great. You know, what's the better time for me to reach back out to you so I can learn more about your specific situation?
Love that.
But you thank them, you rephrase it, and you ask, is that right? That's step one. The second step is take what they said and make it into a question. So whatever it is, I'm not selling because I want to wait till spring. Like, thanks a lot, David. You want to wait till spring. Is that right? And you say, yeah, I want to wait till spring. Be like, great. What specifically about waiting until spring is most advantageous for you? And then based upon what that person says, steps 3 and 4 are to ask another question. And the fifth step is to conditional close them, right? Well, if I could show you a way to make a move before spring and fulfill your family's goals, would you be interested in meeting just for a short amount of time? Because at that point in time, that first, what might be a real objection, that might not actually be the objection that's holding them back from buying or selling real estate. That might be just a surface level concern of theirs, but not the real objection.
Yeah.
Sometimes objections are legitimate, and it's more of a condition, right?
Yeah.
Like I told my son that we're not going to, he's a senior in high school, and we're not going to sell the house until he's away at college. So, yeah, we're not going to sell until summer. We're not going to sell until next fall. Like, that's legitimate. Right? I don't think those are objections.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, so the condition is someone may want to sell, but they're upside down on the house. So that's a true condition where it's not like, hey, I just don't want to sell. I can't sell right now. So maybe an option for that person, after you ask a lot of deep questions and connect with them, is maybe they could do a short sale, right? Or something like that. But most people don't even get that far.
You are listening to One More Sale.
Zig Ziglar, and you know who Zig Ziglar is, used to say that on every call a sale is made, right? Have you heard this?
Yeah.
So either they're selling you why they can't do something, or you're selling them why they can, right? So I absolutely love that. It reminds me of that just talking to you. So let's do some role play, man. Why don't you give me a call? I could be an expired or for sale by owner or whatever you want.
Let's do for sale by owner, I guess.
All right, awesome. Yeah. Let's do it, man. I'm looking forward to this.
There are a couple scripts that I like to use on the for sale by owner. One of them is Diana Kokoska's bold script for sale by owners. I think it's extremely conversational, and that's what it's really about for me. And so I'm gonna use that one. Just it's the one that's sitting here right in front of me right now.
Perfect.
So ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, is this David?
Yeah, this is him.
Hey, David, this is Ben. I'm calling from Keller Williams Realty, and just calling about the property on 123 Main Street. Real quick question: when your house sells, where are you planning on moving off to?
We were going down to Florida, down to the Boca area. But why do you ask?
Well, frankly, the reason I'm calling, David, is every day I proactively look for buyers for my sellers. And isn't that what you would want an agent to do for you? I mean, if you hired an agent, right?
Well, right now we're looking to sell the house ourselves, so we're really not interested in hiring any agents.
Sure. Yeah, I can appreciate that, David. And honestly, you know, I'd probably feel the same way because most agents do the 3 Ps of real estate. You know, they place the sign in the yard, they put it in the multiple listing service, and then they pray that someone else sells it. You know, I, on the other hand, do the 4th P, which is that we proactively prospect to find buyers for our sellers. So when your house sells, you're moving to Boca, is that right?
Yeah, I mean that's the plan, you know, and hopefully
Sure.
we need to get down there as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean that's super exciting, David. And I mean, do you have a specific time frame that you need to be down there?
You know, I wouldn't say specific. I mean, the goal is to get out of here before it starts snowing. So, I mean, that would be ideal.
Sure.
But I think either way, we're probably going to end up, I just don't want to, have two mortgages though at the same time.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense, and good for you. Now that you've decided to sell your house, David, how would you rate your motivation on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being extremely high?
It's a good question. I would say it's probably, I don't know, I'd say it's probably a 9.
Okay, awesome. And just out of curiosity, I see that your house is listed for $300,000. How did you determine the price for your home?
Well, we went on Zillow, and Zillow had it at if we had it, I think like $295. So we added a little bit, and we think we should be able to get 3. As a matter of fact, we've noticed some other realtors in the area, actually getting multiple offers on their properties, and so we're hoping to do the same thing.
Yeah, sure. That would be really good for you. And why did you decide to sell your house yourself instead of deciding to list with a real estate agent?
Well, honestly, we just figured we could save the commission. I mean, it's what, 6%. I mean, it's like $18,000. So we can do a lot with $18,000.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that certainly makes a lot more sense. And David, I've just got a quick question: is the commission that you pay more important, or is it the amount of money that you put in your pocket at the end of the transaction that is more important to you?
Well, I think aren't they connected? I mean, if I pay a commission, is it going to take money out of my pocket?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, really, it's about the final sales price. And what we've come to find is that across the country, that homes that sell by owner are actually selling for 13% less than homes that sell with just an average realtor. And our company is outpacing the average realtor by about 6%. So at the end of the transaction, even after all commissions are paid, David, listing it with a realtor gives you a better opportunity to put more money in your pocket. And it's certainly a lot less stressful.
Well, I think... No, I was going to say, if it doesn't sell in maybe 3 weeks, I think we're considering using a real estate agent.
Okay, great. And so, are you looking to get it on the market in 3 weeks, or start the interview process in 3 weeks?
We were thinking of starting the interview process in 3 weeks. Okay,
very interesting. David, one thing that I found is that homes that are selling on the market right now, they're selling the good homes that are getting the prices that they're listed at are selling within the first 3 weeks. And so even though you might not have your home on the multiple list, what you do have is thousands of people looking at your home day in and day out on Zillow and Craigslist and those other sites. And essentially, in their eye, that home is on the market. And so if your home's still on the market in 3 weeks, let's pretend that you're a buyer. If you saw a home that was on the market for 3, 4, 5 weeks, would you think that there was something wrong with that home as to why it didn't sell, or would you think that would be a great home to go take a look at?
Well, I would think that I could probably get a pretty good deal on it if it wasn't selling in a couple months. That's for sure.
Sure, exactly. And David, you're just like every other buyer out there. And so the longer that your house sits on the market, the more of a deal that the buyers that are trying to purchase your home are going to feel entitled to receive. And so that savings that the buyer is assuming they're going to receive from purchasing your for sale by owner, well, whose pocket does that come from, David?
I didn't really think of it that way. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. So why don't you do this? Why don't you give me a call back? And like I said, in 3 weeks, and then if it doesn't sell, then we could certainly interview you as well.
Well, certainly, David. I could do that. And what I don't want to do, David, is at a weak moment you end up with a weak agent. I do have some time tomorrow or Saturday to stop by your house. It'll take about 30 minutes. I would love to show you how we go about getting homes sold and putting more money in our clients' pockets There's no obligation to list with us at that point in time. However, you'll see how we get the job done. And when it's time for you to make that decision to list with a realtor, you'll know exactly who to turn to, and there won't be any delay of getting your home sold. So what works best, tomorrow at 3 or Saturday at noon?
Probably Saturday would work better.
Saturday at noon, fantastic. Well, David, I've got all the information about the house. I'll be sending you a pre-listing packet. That way you know, pretty much what we're going to cover in our conversation. And then we'll just have a really great opportunity to get to know each other and see how we can help you get your home sold at the time and money that you need to get it sold for. Does that sound fair?
It sounds really fair. All right, man. Hey, I got to say that was great. Great work on that. Really conversational. You asked a lot of questions. Never felt like you were pressuring me into anything. I felt like you were just curious. I thought it flowed really, really well for you. So tell us what you did. Like, what was your intention with that?
My intention is really to find out information and see if someone's willing to have a 5 to 10 minute phone conversation with a complete stranger about a massively important financial decision. Chances are that they're going to be more connected to actually want to meet in person. There are a lot of times when, for sale by owners especially, they'll say, well, just bring a buyer by. Just bring a buyer by. And I don't want to bring a buyer by. That's not why I'm calling. Now, if we have a buyer who says, hey, Ben, we want to go look at this house, sure, let's go look at it.
So when someone says, Ben, let's bring a buyer by, what do you say to that? What's your next line?
I say, look, I would love to bring a buyer by. Fact of the matter is, I don't know nearly enough about your house to see if it would be a waste of your time for me to bring any of my buyers by. And the last thing I want to do is waste your time and waste my client's time to find out about a home that might not be a good fit for them.
Yeah, but Ben, all the pictures, the pictures are on Zillow. Can't you just go to Zillow and look at the pictures?
Yeah, we can take a look at pictures all day, David, and still there's something about stepping into a home that buyers want. They want to be able to know that this is going to be a good fit. And we just can't do that until we know more about your property. And to be quite honest, I'm going to shoot you straight, David. My intention is to help you get your home sold. Now, most realtors that are going to be calling you, they're going to be telling you that they've got this, magical list of buyers that they have for your property, and that's just a ploy to get themselves in the door. I just want to be extremely transparent with you. We might have a buyer. That's not the reason why I want to meet with you. I want to meet with you because I'm confident in our ability to get your home sold.
I love it, my friend. Obviously, you are very well scripted. You know your scripts. You've internalized them. Sounds like you've mastered some of them. So great job. So in closing, man, I, again, appreciate your time. The people that are listening to this interview today, first off, if there was one thing you told them, like how does somebody become able to do what you just did? What's the first step on that?
I would say I felt the same exact way for a long time. It was through the practicing of these scripts that when I started to master them and I started to learn, like, okay, this is how these calls normally flow, that I could start interjecting my own personality into it, and I could start asking deeper questions. And so don't retaliate against the script. Learn the script so then you can, at that point in time, be able to manipulate it through that conversation. And remember, the scripts are there so we can be better listeners. It's not about what we say. It's about what we hear and asking the questions so we can hear the right things.
I love it, my friend. KW has a model we call memorize, internalize, and then customize. And it seems what most agents want to do is customize first, right?
That's it.
So common.
Right.
So, because that doesn't sound like me. So in closing, my friend, I appreciate your time. What is the one thing you want our listeners to take from this interview on their path to sales mastery?
The one thing that I would like for agents to take on their path to self-mastery is believe in yourself, believe in the fact that you bring something unique to the conversation. And when you commit to the mundane of practicing the same thing over and over and over and over again, you're going to be able to create massive, massive results for your clients, your family, and your life's vision. So believe in yourself, and everybody else will too.
Awesome. And how do we get in touch with you, Ben?
Yeah, you can hit me up at ben@5doors.com. That's 5 spelled out. ben@5doors.com. And I think my Twitter is even at Papa Oso. Papa Oso, Poppaoso. Find me on there.
If you're anything like me and you love podcasts, I guarantee you're going to love audiobooks. And audible.com is the largest resource of audiobooks. I'm super excited about my partnership with audible.com, where I can offer you a free audiobook. All you have to do is simply go to www.davidsfreebook.com and sign up, and you get yourself a free book. Yes, absolutely free, never charged, no membership. If you love the service, then obviously continue using it, but this is completely free. Again, www.davidsfreebook.com. Get yourself a free audiobook and enjoy.
You are listening to One More Sale with your host, David I. Hill, author of the Sales Playbook. Get your copy at www.thesalesplaybook.net.